In a nutshell, my best story wasn't, my family really didn't dwell on the negative part of it, that there wasn't much finance, there wasn't um there's like complications and all that. They just like, and then I also came peacefully, and like I was just like, and I was a big baby, like I was a big baby. Yeah, so due to that, my grandma was like, she's going to name me only God knows, and I'm God's gift. So that's how come I got two ever names, Mauquenya, Mawena. And even one of my aunties wanted to name me God's word, Maunya. And so that's how come Mailiana means only God knows his gifts. Of course, you can add that, or only God knows his gift. So as I have shared the story with you, my birth story with you, you realize that I always draw on the positive, and also focusing on the positive actually makes you feel good, and makes you know that you are like, makes you, it gives you a purpose, or gives you a reason to like appreciate life.
Welcome to Keep Building Show, and I'm your host, Miss Mailiana. We will be sharing exciting stories on life experiences, life lessons, growth talk, self improvement, and self building. Stay tuned.
Hi, welcome to Keep Building Show. I'm your host, Miss Mailiana, and if you are new here, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave a comment, and share to your friends. And if you are my OG, welcome back to Miss Mailiana's channel. And I'm bringing you something new called the Keep Building Show. And the first segment of the show is my personal story, because I want to connect with you on a personal level, for us to bond on a different level, right? Okay, so today's personal story of mine is going to be deeper. I'm going to talk about my birth story and my name, because that's my origin. I trace down my confidence to that, my origin, and that's my birth story. So I asked my grandmom about my birth story, and from her story, as she narrating it to me, that this is how I was born and all that, I took my origin story from there. So I built my confidence from that source, from the day I was born, 21st May 1999, till now. Like, that's my origin. And me knowing about that story always makes me know that, yes, like, you can't change that birth stories. You can't change it. So that's my origin story. So we are going to get deeper into that for you to know like more about me, and also for you to know and appreciate your life stories as well. Okay. So as I said earlier, I was born on 21st May 1999. It was a Friday, and from my grandma's narration, I was born at dawn around 4 a.m., getting to 5 a.m. Friday. I was born at dawn, and at that time my family really wasn't financially okay, and the amount that was available from my grandma is that in the whole house they had about 3,000 cds then in the 90s, so that's equivalent to maybe 30 pesos or 3 pesos now, due to inflation and the economy's work. So there was actually not much funds, but I was born at a polyclinic, so my mom was rushed to the polyclinic when she was in labor, and my mommy didn't stress giving birth to me, though like financially, like the things were all in a normal sense. From the narration grandma gave me, everything was too like, if they weren't worried, though things weren't okay, kind of like my mommy wasn't okay, in the sense that she had less blood, and my like there was no much finance and all that, but my grandma said she never worried, and she was going home to get something for my mom. By the time she came back, here I am, big baby, like very healthy. And though my mommy needed blood, they couldn't buy blood bank to give my mommy. And within when she was discharged, within 3 days, with just healthy diet, my mommy was blood, just all of a sudden, she was okay. There was no, like, even my grandma was like, when they went for checkup, they were like, where from the blood and all that, but I was just died. So my grandma, from there then onwards, my grandma has been so keen on our diet. So in a nutshell, my best story wasn't, my family really didn't dwell on the negative part of it, that there wasn't much finance, there wasn't um there's complications and all that. They just and then I also came peacefully. And I was just and I was a big baby, I was a big baby. Yeah, so due to that, my grandma was like, she's going to name me only God knows, and I'm God's gift. So that's how come I got two ever names, Mauquenya, Mawena. And even one of my aunties wanted to name me God's word, Maunya. And so that's how come Mailiana means only God knows his gifts. Of course, you can add that, or only God knows his gift. So that's the meaning of Mailiana. And so I'm an Ever, so my our name is Mauquenya Mawina. Only God knows his gifts, but it comes into name. So that's my origin. So me knowing that Francisca was named, I got it from my godmother, and Zonki was, as we were growing, they keep changing surnames and all that. But when I was growing, these two names resonate with me so much: God's gift and only God knows. So whatever I'm doing in life, and as we are here starting this show, only God knows where this show is going to lead us. Only God knows who this show is going to touch. Only God knows who this show is going to connect with, right? So me knowing this origin, me knowing the story about my birth, I realized that in any situation I find myself in, I dwell on the positive. I dwell on the positive, and the positive always weigh the negative, right? Yeah, so me knowing that my family always dwell on the positive, and they were like, grandma was like, after birth, everything was just moving smoothly. Like there was peace in the house, there was joy. Like it was so amazing. And I'm always cracking them up when I was growing up. Like I'm kind of so brilliant. I'm asking a lot of questions, and they're like, hey, like they've not gone to school, so don't come with stresses and all that. So I realized that, okay, so I was a joy bringer to my family. I was that peace in the family, even though through from birth, from the pregnancy and all that, there was things weren't smooth, but they never felt shaky. They were so at peace. And I was like, okay, so I bring peace to my family. I bring joy to my family. I'm a gift to my family and beyond. And only God knows this type of gift I am. And if I am a child of God and I'm his gift, and I'll bring peace. Like it's a whole lot of things. So I define these things to me. So I say to myself that I'm a miracle baby, and also I bring peace and joy wherever I find myself. And furthermore, I decided to actually define my names, find the meaning of all my names, and then know who I am. So, knowing your name means a lot. It describes you as a human, like your character and all that. And it also helps you to build your core values as you live. One of my core values is honesty. And one time I came across the meaning of Francisca to be truthful. So I got my core value from that I'm going to be honest no matter what it is, and that's what I live with. Why do I have to lie? I can't keep lying. It's so difficult for me to lie. No, I'm not going to do any extraordinary thing that will cause me to lie, right? I'm not going to find myself doing something bad that will cause me to lie. So I'm always going to be honest with my business, with whatever I do. I'm going to be honest. And also another meaning I found about Francisca is free. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be peaceful. I'm going to be joyful. I'm going to be free to everybody. I'm not going to criticize anybody from their look or anything. So whoever you are, I'm going to smile at you. So that made me also know how to relate with different type of people. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of different people in the world, and every different mentalities and all, but learning that actually helped me. So I was able to define my name. Francisca means free, peaceful, truthful. I caught my core values from there. Miliana means only God knows his gift of words. Zonki also means great person. So I have been able to find my origin. My origin is my birth story, defining my name and defining who I am to my family and beyond, right? So as I have shared the story with you, my birth story with you, you realize that I always draw on the positive, and also focusing on the positive actually makes you feel good and makes you know that you are like makes you it gives you a purpose or gives you a reason to like appreciate life. And one that thing is because of the story, I build my confidence in it, because whenever I go somewhere, I have it in my mind that I am here to bring peace to this place, to bring joy to this place. I am here for a reason. So that's build my confidence also. So knowing your origin story builds your confidence, like gives you a root to your confidence, right? So as you listen to this story, as you listen to my birth story, which I have been able to summarize, right? Also find out that origin story may not be your best story, may be something that your parents or your guardian talks about you that resonate with you, and find the positive and make it your origin story, right? That could carry so much confidence. Knowing who you are really makes you confident in yourself and in your life, right? All right, so let's get into the main show. And today's topic is discovering what drives you and knowing your dream. Okay, so discovering what drives you is really, 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 really important, right? It's very crucial for you, because if you know your drive, you know it to yourself, and no one can take that from you, right? Okay, so as I have shared with you my birth story, because I actually did a whole self reflect and got to remember some memories, find out the patterns, find out the team, and got to know what my origin story is, my identity story is, and all that. So I will tell you that as you try to discover what drives you, get to know your dream, the very first thing you got to do is reflect on your life experiences, find the patterns and themes in your life, and that is always going to help you identify why you are on earth, the reason and your purpose in life, and also it was going to help you build that dream or get to know what your dream is all about or what you actually want to fulfill in life, right? So let's get into some actions that I came up with that will help you come up with what drives you, your story, and also get to know get to know the beginning of how to craft your dream lifestyle, your dream life. Okay, so the actions are, so the very first action I wrote down or I came up with for you to do is start from the start or reflect from the start. Yes, so reflect from the start. Maybe as I did, I reflected from the start, from my best story, from the very beginning of my life. You can also reflect on maybe your very first job, maybe if you want to get your path in your career, if you want to get your path in your friendship, the friends you keep, you can say, oh, how was my first friend like? So start from the start, reflect from the start. Sorry, so the very first action to do is reflect from the start. I reflected from the start by telling you my best story, so just like how I did. And that brings me to the second thing, the second action I would like you to do. The next thing is build a positive story. So as you are reflecting from the start, probably your friend did something to you. Probably your best story isn't so rosy. Mine wasn't, but I dwell on the positives, right? So come up with a positive story. Positive story gives you some feeling, builds you up, gives you some good energy, right? Then now the next thing is you come up with your identity story. So after all my birth story I shared with you, I came up with the identity that I am a gift to my family, I bring peace to my family, I bring joy to my family. So that's my rooted identity. So wherever I find myself, it's right behind my back that in this place you are the peace. In this place you are the joy. So do not go there fighting or disagreeing to anything. Your voice bring peace to people. So that's what actually I work with. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing is, which is actually the final what's the name, the final action I came up with for this episode is identify what value you give to others. Right, identify what others come to you for me, others come to me for my knowledge. There's no day that goes by without receiving a text on from a friend or from a contact asking me and my take on something or my take on a decision they want to take. So I bring the value of sharing my knowledge to people. So I identify what you bring to other people. What do you help other people with? And actually, if you identify that, that's even going to help you to come up with a business idea, right? So do these actions, and at the end of doing these actions, you are going to come up with a personal story that's going to be your origin story, your identity story, that's going to build you up and build your confidence. Because if you know your origin, if you know your genesis, that gives you some conviction, that gives you some boldness and bold step, and you are going to be confident in it. So another thing for this show, or another thing in this on this segment, is um some questions you need to ask yourself, right, as you are trying to develop what drives you and develop your dream. Some questions are very key for you to answer to yourself as you start. Okay, so let's get into the question. All right, so I came up with three questions for you on this episode for you to try to analyze yourself. So yeah, starting from the basics. The show is keep building show, but on this episode, yeah, tackling what are we building? We are building our dream, but some people actually don't know what their dream is. Like they don't know it, they are in the confusion, like they don't know actually it. So this episode is to help um you who don't know what to do with, or help your friend about how to come up with their drive, how to come up with their dream, right? To tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend to come on to the Miss Miliana's channel and subscribe and keep watching the Keep Building show. All right. So the very first question is to know, what do you do that makes you so excited and so engaged that like you don't want to stop doing that, you feel so happy? So I love mathematics a lot, and one thing about mathematics is very tricky, right? You can be solving one question and it will take you like 4 to 5 pages, and when you get to the final page and you get the answer, which may be -1 or 0, you feel so happy at long last. And you also didn't want to stop without finding the answer. So like you are so engaged, and when you got the answer, you're so excited. So what makes you like, what do you do that makes you feel so happy when like that? And the next question is the next question. So the next question is, what activity do you do that makes you lose track of time? Like you are doing something, me, the very first thing I'll say is cooking. I can be in the kitchen, I can be so tired and get into the kitchen and I've forgotten that I'm tired, and I'll cook for like 3 to 4 hours or 3 to 6 hours, and afterwards, before I realized that I was exhausted, I wasn't supposed to go to the kitchen. One other activity that I do that I lose track of time is analyzing the data. That's how come I got to know that I want to be a data analyst, right? Because I can analyze the data, and I'm so happy to do it and find out the very last thing, or come up with the very last report. And then the final question you need to ask yourself as you discover your drive and discover the dream you want to build is what values are important to you. To me, honesty is number one, no matter how it is. In fact, I think I have been brutally honest to people that people really don't like, and I have hurt people through that. The truth hurts sometimes, but I can't stop it, because I really stand on, no matter how difficult the thing is, no matter how difficult or bitter the truth is, just tell me. Just tell me what can happen. It's not going to kill me. So tell me. So that's what I do. I live on. I am so honest, and I think I'm going to drive on that honesty to through all my businesses and through all my career, I'm going to be honest. Honesty is key. So, what are the values that are so important to you? One other value I hold so dearly is self respect. How I dress means a lot to me because what I wear is how I'm going to be addressed, right? So, find out the important values you hold dearly to, and that with all that you're going to find out your origin story. With all that I have said for this episode, you're going to find out your origin story. You're going to find out your identity story, which is going to help you build your confidence, right? And when you get to also know your values, you're going to stand on things and then you're going to work with a different mindset that these are things I like, these are things I don't like. And you also get to know the people you bring around you. If someone is dishonest, you're not going to bring the person, I'm not going to bring the person closer to me no matter what it is. Oh, there's nothing like you are telling me a lie to protect me. Tell me the truth so that we solve the situation together. Right. So we've come to the end of the main show. We are getting to the next segment of the show.
Let's get some lesson from a podcast.
And the next segment of the show is lesson from a podcast. For like 6 months to a year now, I've been listening to different types of podcasts, and I want to share some lessons I've learned that align with our topic for the day. And today's podcast or today's lesson, I didn't take that. I listened to them all together, so I actually didn't take maybe from this podcast. But we'll get into that as the show keep building up. So today's podcast you're taking is from Jay Shetty's show. And one thing about Jay Shetty that resonates with me and I think aligns with what you are doing right now is when you find out what your fulfillment is, what you love doing, make it align with what you do on a daily basis or integrate it to your daily activities, right? So someone like me, I love to share my knowledge a lot. So there's no day, as I said earlier, there's no day that passes whereby a friend or a contact that doesn't come to me to ask me for an assistance or an advice on something. So I hold that daily. And then I've also made it a point that you can come to me to ask me anything and I'm going to help you out with what I know. And also I get to also research on things to also help people. So when you come to me, I have some resources, right? I think I'm a resourceful person. Yeah. So, as you are developing your origin story, you are developing your identity story, you are developing your core values, make it align with your daily activities, integrate it to your daily activities. That's how come you can build your confidence and no one can touch your confidence. No one can shake you because you know who you are. I haven't really spoken about spiritual stuff. I haven't spoken about God stuff and all these things on this episode. Why? Because let's put like we can't put God aside. Why? Because I just want you to do this analysis by yourself. And also, all this I am talking about, I didn't learn it from anywhere, but God directed me to do it. And the Holy Spirit also just did it with me unknowingly. He just reminds me of some memories, and that memories brings me some patterns and I'm like, oh, okay. And at the end, here I am making a show for you to also learn from it and then come up with your own origin story, your identity story, and your core values, and you integrate it with your lifestyle and you are good to go. So now we are done with the lesson from the podcast segment, and we move on to the very final segment of the show.
And it's time for question of the day.
All right, so question for the day is I had to write it. What is one thing you have always wanted to do but haven't because you thought you weren't good enough or didn't have enough resources? Let me take the question again. What is one thing you have always wanted to do but haven't because you thought you weren't good enough or didn't have enough resources? I should be a testimony to you. Or I should be an inspiration to you for you to start whatever you want to do, right? Because let me just even use YouTube. I have wanted to start YouTube years back because and always I just say I don't have the resources. I wanted to do some fancy broadcast settings to start my show, but yeah, using this using this as my mic, my tripod, and you can see the background isn't really good. But we go. So just start it. Okay, just start. The resources is enough for you to start. And when you start, you get to learn about it. I really didn't know about YouTube that much. I really didn't know what I was doing, but I kept going. I kept coming up with ideas, and it's getting better as it goes, and it will get better, and it will get I can't wait for the next 2 years or for the next year that I am done with a full whole studio, inviting people in, and someone is going to do a throwback that this is how I started with my short hair, and this is how I am. In fact, even if you do a comparison from my first video to this, you can see a change. So just start it, okay? And we've come to the end of the first episode of Keep Building Show. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being with us. I am Miss Miliana, your host. And if you are new here, I am Francisca Miliana Zonki. Call me Miss Miliana. And if you are my OG, thank you for coming in again. Thank you for tuning in again. Please share with me your thoughts on this topic, discovering your drive and knowing your dream. What resonate with you? What if you have any questions? Leave us in the comment section. I'll tackle it in the next video and or in the next season because these videos are already in, or I can even add it to like anyhow, but then you find a way to answer your questions. I will surely answer it. And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend that Miss Miliana is coming up with something so unique, and it's going to help you identify who you are and the journey you are going on. Is going to be amazing. This community is going to be great for the person. Just tell that friend to come watch this video, and at the end, he or she will thank you. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and you're out for the day. Bye.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. All right, see you on the next episode.